If you're with me, blink twice. It's time to listen to mom. Blink twice will leave you in a state of question. And honestly, it is a return to form for traditional thriller-style horror movies. If you have been longing for another movie where it's just not straight gore and you want something that actually has to make you think, well, Blink Twice may be the movie for you. There's a massive star-studded cast and a lot of very, very good twists and turns as you go throughout the movie. Now, as a trigger warning, it does deal with a lot of abusive style situations, so it's definitely not going to be a movie for everybody, but if you are into the absolute psychological horror style of movies, I'm going to really recommend this. And that's coming a lot because I've not really been finding a lot of horror movies recently that I've really enjoyed. And when I went into Blink Twice, my first thought was there is absolutely no way that we're going to have Channing Tatum pull off a serious role. I expected just line after line of humor coming from Channing Tatum and then everybody else trying to carry the serious tone. But I'll be one of the first to say that Channing Tatum absolutely just did amazingly in this role. And especially as you get later into the movie where it becomes heavier and heavier, he does an exceptional job about delivering some very heavy lines. And I have to say that this is easily one of my favorite movies I've seen recently. There is tons of symbolism if you're looking for that style of things, if you want to start getting deeper, and it's definitely a movie that'll make you want to watch it twice because there are things that you're most likely going to miss and there are definitely things that you're going to want to see again. This is a movie that I think I might even enjoy more if I were to show it to a friend, because just sitting there waiting for some of these very tense moments to apply the just absolute psychological horror directly to one of my friends might be worth almost as much as watching it the first time. And it's been a while since I've been able to find a movie that's similar to that. For me, the last time I can really think of a movie that I just really wanted to show to somebody, actually we just did some short coverage for over here on the channel, and that is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Of course, extremely different when it comes down to the tone, but very much in the same vein of a movie you'll want to see twice. She puts up a wonderful movie with a very well put together just screenplay, acting, musical score, and everything. And I really think that she came out swinging without even having to leverage her name. The movie I didn't even realize was directed by Zoë Kravitz until about halfway through when I started looking up some of the actors that were showing up in it. There are a lot of very strong color reference things in here, especially if you're a filmography kind of person. This movie features a lot of just themes and overall just very artistic ways of approaching color theory, and there is just endless amounts of Easter eggs and fun that you can get, especially as you continue to watch this movie more and more. Other movies that kind of fit into this genre would be something like either The Menu or Funny Games. If you haven't seen those are also very wonderful movies in the same style of psychological thriller, yet pushing envelope style of engagement. Both the push and pull between the main characters and also leaving the viewer to feel a certain way. I really, again, enjoyed Blink Twice. I would love to hear your all's thoughts on Blink Twice if you've seen it already, and if not, I recommend checking it out. I was able to rent it from Amazon for $5.99 and watch it from the extreme comfort of my couch with some food, and overall, I think right now it's one of the definite must-see movies. If I was going to give it a rating, it's like a 4.5 out of 5 popcorn buckets. I don't know what that really even means, but I like to give arbitrary rating systems to things, and obviously you got to fill those with something. So popcorn buckets or candy. If you haven't, recommend definitely check the thing out. So here's the point where I tell you, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, I definitely recommend clicking away, because this is going to be a moment where I'm going to talk about some of the key pivotal moments inside the movie that I thought really bring it home and make it such a solid movie. So again, spoiler warning, if you don't want to have any of this ruined, this is definitely going to ruin the movie for you. So click away. If not, if you're still with me, let's talk about some of the best parts of the movie and why I really think it does an amazing job at selling this psychological thriller idea. As a reminder, this was a trigger warning, and it does deal with a bit of a assault situation. The entire premise behind the movie is forgetting is a blessing. Slater, played by Channing Tatum, he is caught up in a sexual scandal, in which case he chooses to step down from his company as the CEO and take a hiatus to try to work on himself. He works on himself a bit, finds himself a private island, and starts doing some philanthropy, hoping to make up for his crimes against people. But in turn, what he has done is he has found himself a brand new island to do the things he never stopped doing, because no matter how much he says he's sorry, no one takes him seriously, and of course, he's going to continue doing whatever he wanted to do anyways, such as all power is corrupting when you have absolute power. So the main character, obviously, is brought to the island, and when she gets there, she meets a old lady who is running the island who is catching these snakes, and she refers to her as Red Rabbit. Of course, for anybody who has first seen the movie, Red Rabbit means pretty much nothing, and while holding a snake, it kind of feels like a reference to Snake chasing a rabbit, whereas you feel like she's the prey, and these snakes, or the people bringing her there, are the predators, which, while that maintains true, it also references to a key changing point later in the movie, not only when she figures out the cure for the issue that she's having on top of the island, but also in what the reference Red Rabbit means. She is a nail artist, and she does all of her own nail work, and of course, in reference to her nails, she quickly finds out he is the Red Rabbit in more than one way. And of course, building out through the story, there is a lot of situations in which case the characters are being pretty much gaslit into believing that they might be drinking a little bit too much, partying too hard, or maybe are just misremembering things. But when you start digging deeper into what's going on inside the movie, you start finding out that the reoccurring theme of forgetfulness is a blessing, forgetfulness is also a weapon. And these people have learned how to weaponize forgetfulness, and of course have been able to turn all of that into not only a way to get what they want, but as a way to disregard the crimes that they commit while doing so. And the amount of extremely disturbing while also very deep thought kind of situation that they're in, the movie really encourages you to really think about how much forgetfulness is a blessing, or the entire idea of intelligence is a curse. It's a real deep inset psychological thriller, and I honestly believe that it does this so well on so many different levels. And of course, all of the stuff that happens on the island is extremely unforgivable. It's very original sin on every stance. So every person walks away from this in a worse state than they were, both physically, emotionally, and just karmically. Every character walks away a bit worse than they were before, but of course every one of them who walks away from it also remembers everything for the most part, and so they're no longer under that veil of ignorance is bliss. And so it shows you both sides of it, where on one side they could have all left having forgotten what happened and none of them suffered from it, but also by knowing everything that happened, they all suffer a little bit for that too. So it's a real deep, very thought-provoking movie, and honestly I'm gonna go watch it again just because I think it deserves another look. If you end up watching it and you love it and you didn't already get ruined by sticking through the spoilers, let me know how you feel about the movie. I would love to hear where your thoughts are on it, if you think it's a good movie or if you think it's a bust. But until next time, thank you all so much for checking out with us, and thanks for listening to Mom.